Currently enjoying one of my last quiet mornings during my vacay. Let's do some real talk. Being overwhelmed is almost a requirement in this profession. You know that feeling. You can't find enough oxygen. The walls are closing in on you. Can't keep up. Feel like you're going to drown. The faster you move, the slower things become. This is a reoccurring theme in our profession, but it is something that you not only adapt to, but become very good at. You're going to feel overwhelmed when you first start classes because they're going to be hard as shiz. You're going to feel overwhelmed the first time that you are assigned it to a human being, those things called patients. Then it only gets worse. You're going to have to take care of more than one patient. Then you graduate, and then you take your NCLEX, and then you start taking care of patients, and you're on orientation in the real world. The room seems to get smaller and smaller and smaller. You start out with that one difficult patient, and then you have two difficult patients, or you have 3 or 4 challenging patients. Then a couple years later, you are asked to take on a supervisory role, like, oh my God, a charge nurse. Along the way, you have some horrible patient experiences, difficult patients who are combative, your first patient death. You interact and have to deal with some of the most difficult people who are also your colleagues. Then you might have this crazy idea of going back and advancing your degree. Oh yeah, things are going to get overwhelming. Here's the thing, the culture shock changes. Instead of it paralyzing you and burying you, it eventually becomes another day in your world and just something that you have to plow right through. You get really good at functioning outside of your comfort zone if you do this job long enough. And I'm here to tell you that it never stops, and you will always have moments outside of your comfort zone where it's going to feel overwhelming. So you can either fear it, let it paralyze you, let it bury you, or you can learn to adapt to it and conquer it. You can deny it all you want, but it's here to stay. And the best way to see this in action is to look at the way a student nurse interacts or deals with an overwhelming situation, and then look at someone who's been doing this a while. I can remember when I first felt overwhelmed as a student nurse, or first couple years as a baby nurse, and I had the deer in headlights look, and I would be pushed up against the back end of a wall, just scared out of my mind. And now when I come face to face with an overwhelming situation or an uncomfortable situation, I lean into it. I may not get it right the first time, but I'm going to figure it out. That's it. When confronted with an uncomfortable situation, do you pedal backwards or do you lean in? I want to hear from you. How you doing out there? Submit anything that is challenging you. Always like hearing from you. Submit your Hey Sean questions. I answer all your questions and post them on my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe.